believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you
needs these guys. Jake needs Tyson and needs all these other people, because that you know, everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see.
Dana White takes a savage shot at Mike Tyson through Jake Paul just one day before the fight. Because why not? The UFC boss has no filter and zero chill, especially when it comes to this dumpster fire of a matchup.
Tyson's 58 years old. You know what I mean? Jake fought a guy who was his age and who was also considered a boxer, and he lost. So if you can keep fighting fucking 50-something-year-olds...
You don't think Tyson has a chance?
And making a living at it. I think that Mike Tyson has a puncher's chance against anybody.
Tyson, who hasn't been in the ring for nearly 2 decades, is set to face Jake Paul, someone who basically learned to box by watching YouTube videos. Yeah, sounds like the perfect recipe for a real fight, right? Honestly, this feels less like a fight and more like a social media disaster wrapped up in gloves. So let's break down Dana White's latest rant about this whole circus, just 24 hours before the chaos begins.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying him.
Right.
But he's doing it. You know, what do I think of the Mike Tyson fight?
Yeah.
Right in the heart of the Tyson versus Paul chaos, we've got 3 larger-than-life figures fueling the fire: Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and Dana White. What was supposed to be a simple, routine weigh-in turned into a full-blown spectacle. And not. Just because of the fighters themselves. The unfiltered commentary, the wild opinions, and the nonstop drama have taken this fight to a whole new level. It's no longer just a boxing match. It's a full-blown media frenzy, and every word these 3 say only makes the hype bigger.
Ladies and gentlemen!
It all kicked off on November 14th, 2024, at the Toyota Music Factory in Texas, and what was supposed to be a standard weigh-in turned into an instant viral moment. Tyson and Paul were locked in a tense face-to-face stare-down, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Then, bam! Out of nowhere, Tyson slapped Jake Paul across the face. And this wasn't some playful tap or back-off warning. This was a full-force, no-holding-back slap that echoed through the venue. The crowd went silent, jaws dropped, and you can bet Jake Paul felt that one not just on his face, but all over his social media feeds.
Can you just tell us the emotions, the thoughts that are going through your mind right now?
talking's over.
Why did you push him there?
Tyson, being Tyson, didn't even flinch. Cool as ever, he turned and walked off stage like nothing happened. But just before disappearing behind the curtain, he dropped the mic moment. Talking is over. And just like that, history was made. The internet exploded. That slap instantly became the most talked about moment of the event. Everyone started dissecting it. Was it genuine rage? Was it part of the hype machine? Fans zoomed in on Tyson's expression, searching for clues. Was he truly angry? Or was this just another brilliant move in the drama-fueled build-up? Was Tyson sending a message? Was he trying to prove something? Or was it all smoke and mirrors? Whatever the motive, one thing's certain, that slap got the world talking.
You just felt his power. What did that feel like, and why did he do that to you?
I didn't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap, buddy, but tomorrow you're getting knocked the out.
And Jake? Yeah, he wasn't about to let that slap slide. True to form, he leaned straight into his role as the cheeky instigator, mocking Tyson's outburst by calling him an angry little elf. Seriously, an elf insult? Who even goes? There. It's like Jake was practically begging Tyson to snap again, poking the bear just for the fun of it. He turned the moment into a full-on personal vendetta, turning up the heat and making sure this fight wasn't just physical, it was personal. Classic Jake Paul, always adding fuel to the fire.
You're getting knocked the out. I'm him up, Ariel. I'm him up. He hits like a It's personal now. It's personal now. He must die.
Jake's not just here to throw punches. He wants the world to know this is personal. And of course, social media went into meltdown mode. Memes were flying, comment sections lit up, and fans split into two camps. Those who were fully buying into the drama, and those calling it out as yet another over-the-top publicity stunt. But here's where things get really spicy. Dana White just had to weigh in. And let's be honest, of course he did. Dana doesn't sit quietly on the sidelines, and he definitely doesn't do subtle. When he's got an opinion, he brings it loud and unfiltered. And he's not buying the Jake Paul narrative. Dana doesn't see Paul as some underdog chasing boxing glory. He sees a provocateur, a showman trying to hijack the sport for clout. And he's not shy about letting the world know exactly how he feels.
And that thing that you came out with today, nobody on earth thinks that you really wrote that. You're too stupid. And for those of you that don't know, if you've ever watched one of his fights and you see when they do the stare down.
To Dana White, Jake Paul is nothing more than a YouTuber pretending to be a boxer. Dana's got that no-nonsense approach to combat sports, and he's not buying into the idea that Jake is anything more than a fame-chasing machine. He's called him out directly, saying Jake's dragging his content creator baggage into the ring, more focused on viral headlines than actually earning respect between the ropes. In Dana's eyes, this isn't about the sport, it's about the spotlight, and he's not afraid to say it loud and clear.
The guy that's standing in the middle with the warlock nose and the big warlock wart on his face, apparently that's his manager. And that guy used to be an accountant for me. And let's just say this, he no longer works for me, and I think he's a scumbag.
To Dana White, Jake Paul is just a YouTuber playing dress-up in the boxing world. Known for his no-nonsense stance on combat sports, Dana isn't sold on the idea that Jake is anything more than a clout-chasing entertainer. He's called him out without hesitation, accusing Jake of bringing influencer theatrics into a sport built on grit and discipline. In Dana's eyes, this isn't about boxing. It's about building a brand, chasing headlines, and staying viral. And as always, Dana's not holding back when it comes to calling it exactly how he sees it.
Go start your own business. It's easy to do. Get the warlock on it. The warlock can get it started for you. What you and the warlock should be focused on is your business.
Dana's beef goes deeper than just Jake Paul. It extends to Jake's manager, the Warlock. This guy used to work under Dana at the UFC as an accountant, but according to Dana, he didn't cut it. Now he's resurfaced as the mastermind behind Jake's career, and Dana's not having any of it. He's not just throwing shade. He's outright dismissing the Warlock as someone who couldn't hack it in the real fight world, and is now trying to play power broker from the sidelines. For Dana, it's not just personal. It's about calling out what he sees as a circus run by people who don't belong in the ring.
You can do it better than we do. We're doing this whole thing wrong. You could treat the fighters better than we do. Knock yourself out. Go start your own business. It's easy to do. Get the warlock on it. The warlock can get it started for you.
Dana sees the Warlock as nothing more than a failed accountant trying to claw his way back into the fight game by riding Jake Paul's coattails. He's got zero respect for the guy, calling him a backstabber who's in way over his head. And in true Dana fashion, he doesn't stop at insults. He fires off a sarcastic challenge, daring them to start their own MMA promotion if they think they know how to run things better. It's more than just trash talk. It's a jab wrapped in a dare. And Dana is loving every second of it. Now, we're not just watching a beef between two personalities. We're witnessing a full-on clash of ideologies. On one side, Dana White, the hardened fight game purist. On the other, Jake. Paul and his crew turning combat sports into influencer-fueled entertainment. It's not just personal, it's principle versus spectacle.
I'm ready to roll, buddy. I don't use cocaine. Do you use steroids? Let's do this, Jake.
Dana's all about respecting the fight game and building something authentic, and he's got zero tolerance for the celebrity-driven circus that Jake Paul brings to the table. To Dana, this whole thing feels like a cash grab. Jake isn't fighting for the love of the sport. He's chasing fame and quick paydays. And for Dana, that's nothing short of sacrilege.
So I told you could randomly cocaine test me for the next 10 years. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids. So I want to randomly steroid test.
And then there's Dana's latest spicy challenge. This one isn't about punches or submissions, but about substances and testing. Dana publicly threw down the gauntlet. He'll take a cocaine test if Jake agrees to be tested for steroids. By calling Jake's muscle gains into question so openly, Dana is making a bold statement. For him, this isn't just about drug testing. It's a direct attack on Jake's shortcut to success. Dana's trying to paint Jake as someone who's relying on more than just hard work to build his body, while also shining a spotlight on what he sees as Jake's unearned rise in the fight world.
I did, at the thought. I don't know if it's because of the age difference or what, but why specifically do you think that this fight is so polarizing for people?
First thing is, you don't know the outcome. Too many fights, and this is one of the reasons for boxing's decline. You have the A side, you have the B side. You already know where it's going to go. Whether it's real or not, you have a pretty good sense of the outcome.
The media absolutely ate this up. Every sports talk show and podcast with a mic jumped on the cocaine versus steroids showdown between Dana White and Jake Paul. It's pure headline gold. Dana's playing the media like a pro, using the buzz to chip away at Jake's rise in the sport. For Dana, this challenge serves two purposes. First, it shines a spotlight on Jake's physique and the possible shortcuts he might have taken to get there. Second, it feeds right into Dana's narrative that Jake isn't the real deal, a flash in the pan with no true grit or skill in the ring.
How would you describe the arc of his persona?
It's the greatest comeback I've ever seen in any area, certainly of American life, that I can recall. He shouldn't be alive, and that's not me talking. He said that many, many, many times. The idea that he's here.
Jake knows the stakes are high. If the steroid label sticks, his credibility takes a massive hit, and that's not something you just bounce back from in the sports world. This isn't just a fight. It's a high-stakes game of reputation warfare, with both sides risking their image to control the narrative. And then there's the money. This fight is projected to pull in a staggering $60 million no matter the outcome. Jake is set to pocket $40 million, while Tyson walks away with a cool $20 million. The cash on the table is insane, especially with Netflix backing the event, drawing in millions of viewers who might normally skip a traditional boxing match but are hooked on the drama. At the end of the day, this fight is less about sport and more about spectacle, something Dana White despises, but which is clearly paying off big time for everyone involved.
There's a ton of buzz leading up to this fight, so let's start with a reasonable question. Is this fight real?
It's as real as all the money that's being bet. Yes, that's a qualified yes. There are certain differences from conventional fights or conventional male fights. There are 2-minute rounds. There are 14-ounce gloves as opposed to 10-ounce gloves in the usual heavyweight contest.
Tyson, on the other hand, is a different story. At 58 years old, he's clearly not in it for the payday. He's chasing something deeper. Some say it's about proving to himself that he still has what it takes, that he can still be a force to reckon with after nearly 2 decades away from the ring. For Tyson, this fight isn't just about money. It's personal. He's back for a bigger reason, fully aware that the stakes are high, and that this moment means more than just another paycheck.
Tyson's last competitive fight was in 2005. He's 58 here, Mark. Is there a reason outside of the payday that Tyson takes this fight?
Oh yeah, I think it's ego, and I say that as a full compliment. You can't be a fighter.
So, what about the fight itself? Is it the fight of the century or just another cash grab? Opinions are all over the map. Some fans are hyped about the clash of 2 generations in the ring, while others see it as a mismatch fueled more by media, hype than real skill. Critics like Bernard Hopkins aren't holding back. They're calling it exactly what it is, a circus act.
I don't know if it's because of the age difference or what, but why specifically do you think that this fight is so polarizing for people?
First thing is, you don't know the outcome. Too many fights, and this is one of the reasons for boxing's decline. You have the A side, you have the B side. You already know where it's going to go. Whether it's real or not, you have a pretty good sense of the outcome.
How do you match a 58-year-old Mike Tyson against a 27-year-old Jake Paul, who's still a rookie in boxing? Critics say this fight is nothing more than a payday dressed up as a major event. But even if it's a mismatch, both fighters have serious stakes on the line. If Jake wins, he'll face accusations of picking on an aging, out-of-shape legend rather than taking on real contenders. If Tyson wins, Jake's credibility takes a serious hit. Either way, it's not just about who comes out on top. It's about how this fight will define each fighter's legacy.